The 2023 general elections have come and gone, but that's not without some hitches and expression of certain displeasures from certain quarters. However, the Presidential Tribunal verdict had already been given, which upholds the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is also greeted with apprehension, by some quarters, which of course some of the political parties have agreed and make an effort to appeal the verdict. Hello dear, thank you most sincerely for joining us on The Political Affairs, reaching you from Karma Television. My name is Chris Jacobs. When I return in a short while, I will introduce to you my guest, who will of course further the conversation on the political trajectory in Nigeria. Join us again. Alright, glad to know you're still there. But if you have just tuned in, you're watching Political Affairs on Karma Television. Now, I've been joined by Honorable Sunday Peters. He's a member representing Guyo constituency, and he joins me now to further this conversation. Honorable Sunday, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
Thank you. I'm always happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
And I'm happy with what I'm seeing.
That's right.
Thank you.
Now, of course, before now, elections in Nigeria have been characterized by litigations, and sometimes we used to experience, as a matter of fact, whether pre-election, election, or post-election violence, which of course is predicated on a vacuum, so to say, conducting an election without certain laws that regulate. Now, expectedly, with the introduction of the electoral law, it was expected that the process would be seamless, that could bring about the emergence of whosoever may be pronounced as either the president of the country or the governor of the state. How will you describe the absorption of the electoral law vis-a-vis our democratic tenets?
Thank you. First and foremost, let me once again thank you for the privilege to actually talk concerning something that is so dear to me, being a young politician.
That's
and,
right.
Someone that at least I've been in the system for a while, and I've monitored how more than, I think, 4 or 5 different elections took place, and I was deeply involved in it. When you look at the history of democracy from 1999 to date, we really have improved very well. Number one, in the area of awareness. Let me come from that area. Because if you monitor the involvement of the civil society organization, the electorate, and the process, even the MPA, which is the INEC, there is a very serious improvement from 1999 to date. And talking about the just recent 2023 general election, the signing of the new Electoral Act into law,
that's right.
It's one of the most important turnaround in our election in 2023. And also with the introduction of the BVAS, which when you follow keenly, it has really also helped in seeing that the voice of the masses through vote has been really heard in 2023.
If you say with the with the emergence of young politicians, coming to bear, will you say it is the Electoral Act that was signed into law that has given these young politicians an edge to have superintendence over their ambition of becoming whatever elective office they are vying for?
Yeah, we have the Electoral Act and we have the Not Too Young to Run bill that was actually also passed into law by the previous administration. These two laws has actually given hope to the young people, because most of the time the issue of resources, the issue of the godfatherism, and the issue of thuggery, let me use it that way, has seriously been reduced. Because right now, what the new Electoral Act has done is it made it clearly how you're going to actually emerge. And these are the procedures. Introducing BVAS, despite BVAS is not 100%, we say the solver of the problem, but it has actually improved the hope of the masses. Because if you go to the National Assembly, I was there recently, if you see the caliber of people that won election in 2023, you will know that yes, BVAS has really helped the young people. And when you look at people coming from the different parties, the Labour Party, the NNPP, which are the new parties that just came up, you know that yes, the BVAS or the new electoral really helped. And also, the awareness that was created. Most of the time, there is this fear among the young people that when you go into the politics, what you're going to meet is different from what people are saying.
Sure.
But a lot of people discover that it's not like that. It's all about people voting. It's all about protecting your vote. It's all about knowing the right message to deliver to the people. And at the end of the day, if you can have a good machinery that can protect your vote, you're actually going to be emerged as a winner. So that these two laws that was passed into law has really given hope to the young people and to believe that yes, they can do it.
But Honorable, how do we maintain the status quo? Whereby a young man, of course, maintaining the status quo of not too young to run, owing to the fact that you can hardly separate Nigeria politics with money because they move hand in hand. And a greater percentage of the young politicians in Nigeria have the brain, they have the mindset, they have the IQ, but they are limited in terms of financial capability.
I would say maintain, but rather improve on what we have already.
Okay.
Because when you look at it, I'm using 2023 because there is a very serious improvement. Because there are people with minimal budget, with proper awareness, sensitization, and engagement. It will bring change to that. That is what Labour Party used to have edge over a lot of political parties in various constituencies. And look at the vote that they were able to actually pull, even in the presidential and some governorship. They even won some governorship. Like I believe Abia is under the Labour Party. So if they can do that through proper awareness, through community engagement. I followed the campaign of the governor of Abia State, how he directly engaged with the constituents. And that really helped. I will also use myself as an example. What I did 2023 is to have direct engagement, not a loud kind of campaign whereby you gather. No, you have a proper engagement with the opinion holders, with the community leaders, with the traditional, the religion leaders. That gives sense of belonging. These are people that when they say they're going to do something, they do it. So the norm, we are shifting from the normal practice of politics, whereby one person will just stand and say, this is the person that will be this, and they stand. No. People are becoming more aware, and the young people who are holding the higher percentage of the voting power in Nigeria are actually getting seriously involved.
I like what you said, that you had an interface with the people, which means, of course, you had a great conversation, a non-stop conversation with people at the grassroots.
Yes, very well.
Ordinarily, somebody would say, if the sitting governor is from Party A, invariably all members of the State House of Assembly should come from the same party. But that's not what we see in Adamawa State for now. The governor is a PDP member and you are of the APC.
Yes.
So does that send a message to whosoever, regardless of political affiliation, political inclination, whosoever that desires, to be to vie for any elective office and to do good, can as well achieve that?
Yeah, very well. When you look at not only in Adamawa State, when you go across the board in Nigeria, when you look at what happened in so many states this time around, there is a lot of change, including the National Assembly. For the first time, the opposition had edge over the ruling party in the House of Representatives.
That's correct.
When you combine all the opposition, they are more than
the ruling
party is as a result of the choice of the people. That is why I say there is this serious shift from the normal political way of doing things in terms of, okay, this group of established, let me say, there is a certain establishment that they will say, okay, without us, this person will not win election. It's no more like that. It's all about your level of engagement.
That's right.
Your level of making people to realize that you are the right candidate. And the party also, like I said, right now, the issue of party being influenced on people is also dying.
And the issue of godfatherism.
Godfatherism is also dying.
But are you saying invariably that you do not have a godfather?
No. I only have people that I actually respect politically, and I look for advice, but godfatherism is that I don't have a godfather.
Nobody's bankrolling
my godfather are the people, nobody. In the whole of my political career, I would say, for example, Admiral Murtala Nyako paved the way for me by giving me advisor to be to him, advisor to the governor. I have Aziz, who happened to be a friend and also somebody that I really seek for advice from. We work with our current House of Representative member, Kobe Sari. When he was SSG, I could remember that was when I was advisor to the governor. But if you could remember, when I contested my first office, We don't have any of those people in board because Onuriako was impeached at that time. That is when I contested the election in 2015, 2014, and the party was new. And what happened is information.
All right, but before we trim the conversation to Adamawa state politics, let me bring you back to what you said earlier. The commendations and the encomiums you've poured on the electoral umpire, INEC. Now, someone will say, perhaps because you've won election, that's why you're commending the process, that the process went, seamless. Then to those who fail election, of course, there are a lot of blames. But if you also look at it historically, this is the most expensive election, over 400 billion naira was budgeted for this election. And yet, it was not satisfactorily commended by those who have followed the process keenly. What do you say of that?
When you look at the history of democracy, America and UK are actually leading. But up to today, when you go to UK, within a year, they have like 3 or 4 prime ministers. Within a same year. That's UK. Then coming to America, after the 2020, I think it's the 2022 election that took place that brought Joe Biden. Up to today, Donald Trump is still challenging that election, that he did not lose the election. So there is no election in the world that you have it and it's going to be smooth and every contender will accept it. We say there is improvement. It's not perfect. This is the first time we're using an electronic system for accreditation.
So it's better than 2019?
It's better than 2019. Everybody knows it. Because it's better than 2019. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that a sitting president is losing his state to an opposition.
All right.
This is the first time it happened.
I would like to catch your breath. When we return from this short time out, we look at the verdict, and that upholds the victory of Bola Tinubu. Then before we streamline the conversation, narrow it down to Adamawa politics.
No problem.
All right. Well, you're watching Political Affairs here on Karma TV. I've been speaking with Honorable Sunday Peters, members representing Guyu constituency. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. You're welcome back, and you're watching Political Affairs on Karma TV. I've been speaking with Honorable Sunday Peters. He's a member representing Guyu constituency. Now, Honorable, before the break, of course, you've poured encomiums, let me put it that way, on the electoral umpire, INEC. Even though you say we are improving.
Yes.
But do you think it is improved upon than what we saw 2019? I ask this question because the 2023 general election, the weight of the tension and the apprehension by political parties expressing their displeasure over the process and the conduct of the election, heaping it upon the non-usage of the BVAS and the IREF, particularly from the People's Democratic Party, whereby the INEC boss spoke in Chatham House in the UK, promising to make use of, to transmit the result electronically. He even went to the US, did the same, promising the world that he would transmit result electronically. Now with this, will you still stick to your barrel that the 2023 general election was more better than that of 2019?
100%. I'm not missing word to that because let me explain something to you. This is very important. In politics or during election, there must be a winner and a loser.
Sure.
But all of them have one common purpose that is geared towards making Nigeria more better than the way it is. All of them.
No, you can't speak for everybody. Maybe you speak for yourself. You can't speak for other politicians. We've seen where politicians made promises, they came on board, and they messed up the whole thing.
What you regard as mess up, from their own perspective, it is actually an improvement.
Their own perspective.
Yeah, it is. Because when you talk about policies, there are policies that will be good for you, and there are policies that will not be good for you, and it will be good for another person. Okay, come to talk about the Electoral Act. This man made it clear, before the election day, everybody was confident because they believe INEC will give them what they want.
That's right.
Not what's supposed to be, but what I want as a candidate. But when the time comes, this is the first time I'm using an Android phone. I cannot be able to say I know everything about Android phone because I read the manual until I put it into practice. So by putting that machine into practice, INEC came out to say we had a problem. And for that, there are 100 and something, is it 1,000 something, attempt to hack the INEC server. The INEC chairman came out openly and said it. And for that, we have to shut down the server for them not to be able to hack it and upload something differently. This is the same man that said we are going to upload the result when immediately after the election. And then something happened along the line. He didn't keep quiet. He told everybody, this is the problem and this is why we're doing this. So as a human being, this is the first time I'm trying to use this machine. And I encountered this problem. And the only way I'm going to have a solution to this problem, this is the solution that I was advised by the technical advisor that I have there. And he used it. Another thing is, election is manual. Let us not deceive ourselves. There is nothing like electronic election. Election is manual. The only thing is the confirmation that they use the machine to reconfirm what they have on the register, your thumbprint, and your face. That is all.
So there wasn't so much of a difference.
It's not different. The only difference is the confirmation by the BVAS machine to reconfirm you, and also not to change the figure on the BVAS.
Now,
I'm coming.
Okay.
Not to change the figure on the BVAS. That is why they have to include it in the Electoral Act, that the INEC have a power to use that machine for accreditation, not for voting. The difference is they didn't use that machine for voting. They use it for accreditation. And secondly, the transmission of the result we are talking about is the same result they give it to the agent. It's not a different result. The result they give it to my agent is the same result. They are going to scan it and post it on air. It's not that they are going to send us something, a different manual, electronic result. No, it's the same result they count at the polling unit. They are going to scan it and now send it on air.
So are you saying invariably that INEC did not explicitly explain what the electoral law, should be like in terms of electronic transmission?
I think INEC has exceeded their expectation of the BVAS machine.
Okay.
They have exceeded their expectation. I think they did not do their back office check in terms of the issue of hackers. How are they going to actually handle that situation? And secondly, there is nobody, I'm repeating that, we are not perfect. The electoral process in Nigeria is still improving. We are still on the path to greatness, and we are making it more better every day. And you have seen changes. Where you said some parties are crying in the presidential election, when you go to the National Assembly members, they will tell you that the election was free and fair because they won their election. And in the same party, you go to some governors, they are pressing, the same thing happened. But come to think of it, our major problem, like I said, is we have to believe that in every election, whether it is free, fair, or not, the most important thing, if it is peaceful.
That's right.
And that is one thing that was recorded. Because the post-election violence in 2023 is to a minimal level, completely.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, there is no high level of crisis recorded across the country, like killing, like everything like it used to be, because the expectation is high.
If you had not won your election, if you had lost election, will you have also...
I lost election in 20...
No, I'm talking 2023. No,
yes.
we're talking 2015. Yes. There was no electoral law.
That is what I'm saying. In 2020, in 2023, if assuming I lost my election...
Will you still speak the way you're talking?
I did it in 2015. That's why I'm telling you.
That was 2015,
okay,
Honorable. We're talking about 2023.
That's what I'm saying. Look at what happened in 2023. I'm sorry to use that word. Apart from the Electoral Act, I mentioned something. I said there is high level of awareness concerning this election. I have never seen election that has received massive awareness from the politicians, from the religious organizations, from the civil society organization, and from the government concerning the how to vote, how to protect your vote, and every method. So there is serious awareness. In the whole of my constituency, my party didn't win any election. I'm the only person that won. So it's not actually about party A, party B. It's about what the electorate want. When I'm reading something in Kaduna, there is somebody that is just an Okada rider.
Yeah.
They just call him. He was passing. They call him. They are discussing. He said, "Give me the phone." He filled the phone. He won.
Labour Party,
Yobe.
Yeah.
They have their serving speaker lost election to a 25-year-old young person. What happened? He arrested that person because the person insulted him on the social media. The guy now vowed that he's going to contest the election. He contested against him and he won. Can you tell me that the BVAS is not working? It works.
All right. Now, let's talk to the judiciary a little bit, because there's this normal saying that seems to be a straitjacket thing, that you hardly can oust a sitting president even after there has been litigations, as long as the president is sworn in, in Eagle Square, and that has never happened in the history of Nigeria. And we've seen where African countries, have ousted, not by coup, but by judicial jurisprudence, where, of course, like Kenya, it happened in Kenya. Now, with the verdict that happened recently, will you say there is a precedent that is set already that Nigeria should hinge upon going forward?
When you listen keenly and you pay attention to the yesterday's verdict, I don't want to go deeply because I'm not a learned person when it comes to issue of law, but with my little knowledge of what transpired yesterday, that's why, number one, they transmitted live. Because they want to remove doubt in the minds of Nigeria because of the high expectation. Okay, one of the takeaway from that judgment yesterday, for example, you said you won the election and they removed some percentage of your vote and they added to another candidate. Where did this thing take place or took place? How many votes was removed from your own and added to the another candidate? And from which unit, at which level does that happen? That is one. Two, you are challenging vote in 18,000 polling units out of 176 or 73 plus unit in Nigeria. And you said there are irregularities and overvoting. But from the judgment, they said you did not mention the names of the units, you did not mention the number of votes, and what are the category of irregularities that took place in those places. You talk about corruption. What are the what happened? Why are you what areas are you challenging the corruption? So when you look at it deeply, judiciary is the last hope of a common man. Establishing an electoral case is very difficult. Indeed. Because of our constitution and our electoral act. It's very difficult to prove, more especially when it comes to presidential election. I was discussing with somebody yesterday. I said, if you are bringing witness from 18,000 polling unit to Abuja to come and testify it, because that is the norms, you're supposed to bring somebody from there. Yeah. We did an just approximate arithmetic. We said, okay, let's say you are spending 100,000 on each of these witness. That means it's 1.8 billion.
And how many politicians are
God
ready
bless
for
you
that?
Can afford to do that. So automatically, the issue of even going to tribunal shouldn't even arise of conversation.
I think that there is no better way to end this conversation than now. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sincerely, Honorable Sunday Peter,
thank you.
representing Guyu constituency. Thank you once so again. I will hope to see more of you again,
problem.
right?
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, that has been a conversation with Honorable Sunday Peter, member representing Guyu constituency. Join us again, same time, same station, even as we come with another edition of the program, Political Affairs. Until then, stay safe. I remain yours sincerely, Chris Jacobs. God bless Nigeria.